And you were worried about being really disappointed by the caucus, which...
Yeah, so like I always love the Iowa caucuses. It's so much fun to watch the votes come in, read the returns, all the idiosyncrasies, did these campaign strategies play out well? And we all knew what the result was going to be, right? Mm-hmm. And which made it very anticlimactic. Trump won the day at 51% of the vote. DeSantis came in second place, which is kind of a big deal. He got 21.2%. Haley got 19.1%, and Ramaswamy got 7.7%. Actually, very strong showing by Vivek.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not suspect he would get 7.7%. I'm incredibly surprised and impressed.
Really?
I really am.
Okay.
That's hard to do, to get 8% in a primary like that.
I guess. I just imagine he's been spending every single minute of his time talking to Iowa voters.
Yeah, I mean, like I think he's had twice the amount of campaign events as Ron DeSantis.
Wow.
Which is saying something. Ron DeSantis did the full Grassley. He went to every single county in Iowa. He hit all 99. And, he came in second. He was able to get above Haley, which was a big deal. I think this is the best case scenario for Trump, to be honest. Like
that they're neck and neck in second.
Exactly. It's like there isn't one clear alternative. It's not like DeSantis ran away with second or Haley ran away and the other one is just like has no reason to continue. They both feel like they have a reason to continue, which is exactly where Trump wants these guys. Sure.
It's interesting because I did see some analysis that said that this isn't great for Trump because he only got 51% of the vote. And it means that 49% of Republicans, even in a super rural state, are looking for alternatives. I disagree with that because DeSantis and Ramaswamy voters, I think, will have absolutely no problem voting for Trump.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I totally agree with that analysis. DeSantis and Ramaswamy voters are Trump voters, and they would be happy to vote for Trump, but like just because it wasn't his first pick doesn't mean that they won't go running out and voting for Trump in the general election.
Yeah, they're Trump voters who think maybe one of the other two, it would be more electable.
Yes.
That he doesn't have to worry about criminal convictions, right? But they still are completely aligned with Trump as far as ideology.
Exactly. So now, before the Iowa caucus returns came in, I did a little bit of analysis of the 2016 Iowa primary, and I kind of wanted to gauge the DeSantis and Haley strategies and see which parts of the states did they have the best shot of doing okay in. So I looked back at the results, and if we remember in the 2016 Iowa caucuses, Ted Cruz came in first. He beat Trump by like 2 percentage points. Ted Cruz did best with evangelical voters. And then we had Marco Rubio, who came in third, very close to edging out Trump. Second place. Marco Rubio did really well in the suburbs, urban areas, and most importantly, the college and university counties. And that was where Haley was going to thrive. So these counties where Haley had the best chances to do well were Scott County, where Davenport was, Polk County, that's where Des Moines was, Story County, that's College Town, Johnson County, that has the University of Iowa, which is very important, and then Dallas County, all suburbs. That was Haley's only chance of winning, or at least coming in a close second, was dominating in those counties. Now, what I found so amazing, well, I want to give a little more background about the counties too. These are all counties where Trump and Biden were either even or Biden ran ahead. So Johnson County, Johnson County, that University of Iowa County, is Biden plus 37 at the general election.
Wow.
That's a huge Democratic stronghold. Haley did her best in Johnson County.
Makes sense.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Johnson County, like I said, University of Iowa, very educated electorate there. Haley tied Trump with college-educated voters. That might not sound like a lot because Trump isn't supposed to do well with college-educated voters historically. But what this means is those college-educated voters are looking for an alternative, and they are not on the Trump train.
Yeah.
They're not.
Definitely.
So Trump wins 98 counties. The only county he lost, Johnson County. Nikki Haley beat Donald Trump in Johnson County by 1 vote.
Wait, I thought DeSantis won some counties.
Nope.
Really?
DeSantis won 0 counties. So that was Haley's path to victory. I'm glad you brought that up. Now let's get to DeSantis' path to victory. DeSantis needed to copy the Cruz strategy. He needed to go out and hit the urban evangelicals and the large population center evangelical county of Sioux County. Sioux County's in the Northwest. It's the largest population center that has evangelicals in it. It's not like urban, suburban. It's not a university town. It's more like it's a church county. And so he needed to go after Lynn County that has Cedar Rapids in it. He needed to go after Sioux County. That's where the evangelical base is. And then Marion County. That's where that's where DeSantis needed to run it up. Well, DeSantis was leading in Sioux County for almost the entire night. And then right near the end, Trump pulls ahead and takes away DeSantis's only leading county. And this is after DeSantis got the support from high evangelical leaders.
Yeah.
Leaders in the evangelical movement that have been correctly predicting and endorsing the winner of the Iowa primary for 20 years. Some of these guys in this evangelical base have been right 20 years, endorsing Mike Huckabee, endorsing Rick Santorum, endorsing Ted Cruz, endorsing Bob Dole, endorsed Ron DeSantis, and their losing streak is over.
Trump is just a different element, man.
He's just a totally different element.
Yeah.
And these evangelical voters no longer connect, I think, their politics as deeply with their church as they once did. They connect their politics with Trump.
Yeah, he's just captured something else. His charisma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His charisma has just tuned those voters out from listening to their religious leaders now, and DeSantis wasn't able to, capitalize on what other presidential candidates in the past have been able to do.
I also think they see, it's not just that they're less connected to the church. I don't even know if that's necessarily the case. I think a lot of them see Trump as very religious.
Oh, sure.
He's portrayed by some as an extremely religious figure, even though in reality he is not. Let's be completely clear on that.
He's the most opposite of what you can imagine.
Exactly. But they still have that idea of him.
One thing that was so funny for Ron was he got the endorsement of Pastor John Palmer. Now, John Palmer is a big political religious leader in the county. 2 hours before votes started, John Palmer went on TV and switched his endorsement from DeSantis to Haley. 2 hours before votes started being counted, he got on TV and switched his endorsement.
That is the most transparently, let me try to pick the winner move that I've ever seen in my life.
And it was so funny, dude. And literally after he's getting interviewed on CNN, the other CNN anchor was like, listen, I don't want to question the motives of a religious man, but it seemed like he was just trying to pick the winner. Which and then he picked wrong, which is hilarious.
Of course.
Right? So, yeah. But now I want to go into the exit polls of Iowa caucuses that I think tell us a lot about the general election and shows a big split in the Republican base that just frankly did not exist in 2016. It just wasn't there. So they asked this very important question. For each of the following, please tell me how you would feel if the candidate were the Republican Party's presidential nominee, Donald Trump. 79% of caucus goers would vote for Donald Trump, but 20% say they would ultimately not vote for him. That is a huge number. And what's crazy to me, they asked the same thing about Nikki Haley, and then 30% of caucus goers said they wouldn't vote for Nikki Haley.
That's crazier.
Right. Because this tells me, these two people cannot coexist in the same party. This is not a sustainable coalition at all.
Really?
No,
you think
I
that
don't
20% number is too high?
Well, then that's what I wanted to figure out. Is 20% actually that big of a deal? Let's look back to a more recent primary that was very contentious and people weren't very happy with the outcome. 2016, Bernie versus Hillary, right? So some voter analysis agencies were able to dig into the data and find that 74% of Bernie Sanders voters ended up voting for Hillary Clinton in the general election. Well, if you do all the math out, that means that 10% of Democratic primary voters did not show up to vote in 2016. So that 20% number not voting for Trump is double what happened to Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
Which that tells me it's bad.
Okay.
And this isn't Iowa. This isn't a swing state. This is a deep red state, and
True.
It's 20%. And then we need to look at what happens in New Hampshire with this figure, because New Hampshire is a swing state. It has a lot more independents voting.
Yeah.
If this same question gets asked, and you're looking at a 25% never voting for Trump, 30% never voting for Trump, the path to victory gets real slim.
Do you think there's any wiggle room here as far as from now until November for that 20%?
Well,
I don't know.
Honestly, the only wiggle room I think there is wiggle to move down, because now we're getting to the point where Trump is going into these criminal trials. And then CNN exit poll asks, if President Trump was convicted of a crime, would you vote for him? Or is he fit for the presidency? 31% of people say no. So that I feel like that number only has the ability to go up.
Not if he's acquitted.
No, not if he's acquitted. If he's acquitted, we're in a whole different environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if he's acquitted.
But what he's fighting for is he's fighting for the trial to get delayed. So that acquittal feels like him delaying the trials feels like his best case scenario. So acquittal doesn't even like seem like it's within the picture as far as part of the election scenario.
No, and look, briefly about the Trump cases. Georgia, I think he's dead to rights. DC, I think he's dead to rights. The documents case down in Florida, I think he has a chance. And the only reason is because he has a better jury pool in Florida. So maybe the people in the jury acquit him because they like Trump, or the judge was appointed by him, and maybe she's softer with him.
Dude, I actually think it's the opposite.
I hope it is.
I think he's dead to rights in Florida, and there's wiggle room in the other cases.
Okay.
Because I think because they have to make basically a racketeering argument in the other cases, right?
Which is hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like there was all of these little actions added up to a conspiracy to do this crime, which after looking at the evidence myself, I do believe. I think it is a clear story to be told. Mm-hmm. But the documents case is so cut and dry. It's just like you took these, they asked for the documents back over and over and over again, and you continually said no.
And then you told people they were classified, and then said, I could have declassified them, but I didn't.
Yes, exactly.
No, listen, I understand that it's definitely the more evidence case.
Yeah.
Right? There's more evidence for that one. I'm just not convinced that the politics will be able to get the conviction. But no, listen. And so if he gets convicted, a lot of these voters aren't going to go with Trump at the end of the day, and it's going to make Biden in a much stronger position in 2020, which we've been saying Biden's approval rating is going down for so long and all that, but I don't know if it matters that much.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Biden's approval rating.
Not at all.
I think approval ratings rarely do. They aren't very definitive of how elections go. Mm-hmm. We've seen that in many cases. We've talked many times about why we think Biden is a good candidate against Trump, and this is the perfect example.
Perfect example.